What if the future of global power depended on just two leaders, Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin, two of the most influential and controversial political figures of our time, whose decisions have the potential to reshape international relations, shift alliances, and redefine the balance of power across the world? And as we move deeper into a new era of geopolitical tension, the question is no longer whether their relationship matters, but how much it will impact the future of global politics. The relationship between the United States and Russia has always been complex, deeply rooted in decades of rivalry, competition, and occasional cooperation, dating back to the Cold War when both nations stood as the world's two dominant superpowers, each pushing its own ideology, capitalism versus communism, democracy versus centralized control. And although the Cold War officially ended in 1991 with the collapse of the Soviet Union, the tension between these two nations never truly disappeared. Instead, it evolved into a modern geopolitical rivalry shaped by military influence, economic power, and global strategy. Russia, under the leadership of Vladimir Putin, has consistently aimed to restore its status as a global superpower, seeking to expand its influence in regions like Eastern Europe, the Middle East, and beyond, while the United States has worked to maintain its position as the leading global force, supporting alliances such as NATO and promoting democratic systems worldwide. And this ongoing competition has created a fragile balance where every move by one side is closely watched and often countered by the other. When Donald Trump entered the political stage, he brought with him a completely different approach to foreign policy, one that challenged traditional norms and surprised both allies and critics. Unlike previous American presidents, who often took a firm stance against Russia, Trump expressed a willingness to engage with Vladimir Putin in a more cooperative and less confrontational manner, often emphasizing the importance of dialogue and mutual understanding over conflict and hostility. Surprised. This approach sparked intense debate across the United States and around the world, with some arguing that improved relations between the two nuclear superpowers could reduce the risk of global conflict and open the door to strategic cooperation, while others feared that such a stance might embolden Russia and weaken the United States' position on the global stage, especially in areas where Russian actions had already raised serious concerns. During Trump's presidency, several key issues defined the U.S.-Russia relationship, including allegations of Russian interference in the 2016 U.S. election, ongoing conflicts in Ukraine and Syria, and disagreements over international agreements and sanctions. Yet despite these challenges, Trump continued to express respect for Putin's leadership style, describing him as strong and effective, a characterization that further fueled controversy and criticism. Supporters of Trump argued that his willingness to engage with Putin represented a pragmatic approach to diplomacy, one that prioritized results over ideology and recognized the importance of maintaining communication between powerful nations. They believed that reducing hostility could lead to better outcomes in areas such as arms control, counterterrorism, and global stability, while critics countered that this approach risked undermining long-standing alliances and sending the wrong message about accountability and democratic values. As the world looks toward the future, the potential return of Donald Trump to the presidency raises new questions about how U.S.-Russia relations might evolve. Curious, would a second Trump administration continue to pursue a more cooperative relationship with Putin? Or would changing global circumstances force a shift in strategy? And how would this impact ongoing conflicts and alliances that define today's geopolitical landscape? At the same time, Vladimir Putin remains a central figure in global politics, maintaining a firm grip on power in Russia and continuing to pursue policies aimed at strengthening his country's influence. His leadership has been marked by a focus on national strength, strategic expansion, and a willingness to challenge Western dominance, making him both a respected and controversial figure on the world stage. The interaction between Trump and Putin is not just about personal dynamics. It reflects a broader shift in how global power is exercised and perceived. Thoughtful, in a world where traditional alliances are being tested and new partnerships are emerging. The decisions made by these leaders have far-reaching consequences that extend beyond their own nations. One of the most critical areas where this relationship plays a role is in global security. Both the United States and Russia possess vast nuclear arsenals, and any change in their relationship has the potential to impact international stability. Serious cooperation on arms control agreements has historically been essential in preventing escalation, but tensions and mistrust can quickly reverse progress, leading to increased risks. Another key factor is economic influence. While the United States remains one of the world's largest economies, Russia's role as a major energy supplier gives it significant leverage, particularly in Europe, where energy dependence has become a strategic concern. The balance between economic cooperation and competition adds another layer of complexity to the relationship. In addition to security and economics, the influence of technology and information warfare has introduced new challenges. Curious cyber attacks, misinformation campaigns, and digital surveillance have become powerful tools in modern geopolitics, and both nations have been accused of using these methods to gain an advantage, size further complicating the already delicate balance between them. Public perception also plays a significant role in shaping this relationship. Within the United States, opinions about Russia and its leadership remain deeply divided, influenced by political beliefs, media narratives, and historical context. Similarly, in Russia, perceptions of the United States are shaped by national identity and government messaging, creating an environment where trust is difficult to build and maintain. As global tensions continue to rise, the question of whether cooperation or conflict will define the future of U.S.-Russia relations becomes increasingly important. The actions of leaders like Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin will play a crucial role in determining the direction of this relationship, influencing everything from international security to economic stability and beyond. Looking ahead, several scenarios are possible. One where increased cooperation leads to a more stable and predictable global order. Another where competition intensifies, resulting in greater division and potential conflict. And a third where a balance is maintained through strategic negotiation and mutual understanding. Each scenario carries its own risks and opportunities, highlighting the importance of careful decision-making and effective leadership. Ultimately, the story of US versus Russia is not just about two countries. It is about the future of the international system, the balance of power, and the ability of nations to navigate an increasingly complex and interconnected world. As we continue to watch the evolving relationship between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin, one thing is clear: the choices they make will not only shape their own countries, but will also leave a lasting impact on the world for generations to come. So the real question is not just who is stronger or who will win in a political sense, but whether the world can find a path toward stability and cooperation in the face of ongoing rivalry, because in the end, the future of global politics may depend on it.